The day I realized my best friend had become my worst nightmare. I was standing in a courthouse hallway, holding a manila envelope with my name on it. But here's the thing, it wasn't my handwriting. Inside that envelope was a deed to my house, signed over in my name to someone else. That someone else was the woman who used to braid my daughter's hair every Sunday morning. My name, my house, my children, my entire life handed to a stranger wearing my face. My name is Rachel, and what I'm about to tell you, I've never said out loud to anyone. Not like this. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly how a person can lose everything, and then burn it all back. Let me take you back 3 years, before the lawyers, before the restraining orders, before I had to teach my own children that the woman they called Auntie Dana was a lie wearing a smile. 3 years ago, I had a life I genuinely loved. I was 34, single mom of 2, Maya, who was 7, and Liam, who was 5. I had a small but beautiful house in a quiet suburb outside of Columbus, Ohio. I had a job I was proud of, district manager at a regional insurance firm. I had savings, I had a plan, and I had Dana. Dana Whitmore had been my best friend since college. 15 years. She was my maid of honor at my wedding. The wedding that ended in divorce, but that's a different story. She was in the delivery room when Maya was born. She held my hand at my father's funeral. She knew every password, every PIN, every secret. Because that's what you do with your best friend. You hand them the keys to your soul and you trust them not to drive off a cliff. Dana had fallen on hard times, lost her apartment, lost her job. So naturally, obviously, I said, move in with me. She'd stay in the guest room, help with the kids while I worked long hours. I'd cover groceries, she'd cover childcare. It was supposed to be temporary. 6 months, maybe. It turned into 18. And in those 18 months, Dana didn't just live in my house. She was quietly becoming me. The first sign came on a Tuesday in March. I got an email from my bank, a notification about a new credit card being opened in my name. I figured it was a glitch. I called the bank. They told me it had been opened 3 weeks prior. The address on the account? Mine. I reported it. The bank flagged it as potential fraud. I changed my passwords. I moved on. Because I was busy. Because I was exhausted. Because it didn't even cross my mind that the person living under my roof, eating my food, tucking my children into bed, could be behind it. But the second sign came 2 weeks later. My phone rang. A collections agency. Asking about a car loan. A 2021 Hyundai Tucson that was 3 months overdue. I don't own a Hyundai Tucson. I drive a 2019 Honda CR-V. I've never financed a Tucson in my life. But somehow, my social security number had. My credit score had dropped 47 points. Accounts I never opened. Balances I never ran up. Medical bills from a clinic in a city I've never visited. I started pulling credit reports at midnight, hunched over my laptop at the kitchen table, while Dana slept peacefully 20 feet away. And then, I found it. A utility account, gas and electric, for an address in Dayton, Ohio, opened in my name, active for 11 months. But it wasn't until I Googled that address that my entire body went cold. It was Dana's mother's house. She had been using my identity to pay her mother's bills for nearly a year. I sat there in the dark for a long time, just breathing, telling myself there had to be an explanation, that 15 years of friendship couldn't collapse into this, that Dana, my Dana, wouldn't do this to me. but then I started looking deeper. A personal loan, $12,000, my name, my social, dispersed to a checking account I didn't recognize. A second credit card, $8,000 in charges, electronics, clothes, a hotel stay in Cancun that lasted 10 days. And then, the thing that made my knees buckle. A quitclaim deed. For my house. Filed with the county 6 weeks earlier. Transferring ownership from me to a limited liability company I had never heard of. The LLC was registered in Delaware. 2 members, Dana Whitmore, and a man named Curtis Gale, who I later found out was her boyfriend. The boyfriend she had never once mentioned to me. She had transferred my house while living inside it, while tucking my children into bed. I closed the laptop. I walked to the bathroom. I turned on the shower so the sound would cover me. And I fell apart. Here's what most people don't understand about betrayal like this. The first instinct is to scream, to confront, to throw open that guest room door and demand answers at 2 in the morning. But I didn't. Because something shifted in me that night. Something cold and quiet and very, very focused. I realized that if I confronted Dana too soon, if she knew I knew, she and Curtis would lawyer up, disappear, and I might never recover what was mine. So I made a decision. She would not know that I knew. Not yet. I went to work the next morning. I smiled at her over coffee. I let her hug my kids. I watched her like a scientist watches a specimen, looking for every move, every lie, every thread I could pull. Step 1. I called an attorney. A real estate and identity theft specialist named Margaret Cole. I found her through a legal aid referral, and she was, thank God, brilliant and furious on my behalf. Margaret told me the quitclaim deed was almost certainly fraudulent. My signature had been forged, and the notary stamp was from an out-of-state notary who had no legal standing to process an Ohio property transfer. That deed was likely void, but we had to move fast, quietly, and correctly. Step 2. I filed a police report. Identity theft, fraud, forgery. I did it at a precinct across town during my lunch break while Dana thought I was grabbing food. I brought every printout, every account, every piece of evidence I had compiled over the previous 72 hours. Step 3. I contacted a forensic accountant, a woman named Terry, who began tracing every transaction linked to my stolen identity back to Dana and Curtis. Every dollar, every transfer, every purchase in Cancun. Step 4, and this is the one that broke my heart just a little. I quietly arranged for my children to spend 2 weeks with my sister in Pittsburgh. I told Dana it was a cousin's trip. She smiled and helped me pack their bags. Maya hugged me extra long at the door. She said, "Mommy, are you okay?" I said, "I will be, baby." And I meant it. Step 5 was the one that took everything I had. For 3 more weeks, I smiled. I made dinner. I asked Dana how her day was. I watched her lie directly to my face about running errands, about job interviews, about her future plans, not knowing that her future plans were to eventually push me entirely out of my own life. She had even started enrolling Liam in a new school district, using my address but her name as the primary guardian. She was replacing me, not just stealing from me. She was going to take my children. That was the moment I stopped grieving and started finishing this. The morning of the confrontation, I woke up at 5 a.m. Margaret was already outside in her car. 2 detectives from the fraud unit were parked at the end of the block. Terry had submitted a 40-page financial forensics report to both the DA's office and the county recorder the day before. Every piece was in place. I made coffee. Dana came downstairs in her pajamas, hair messy, completely unbothered. She said, "Morning, you're up early." I said, "Big day." I set a folder on the kitchen table. I slid it toward her. She looked at it, then at me. And for just 1 second, one small, terrible second, I saw it. The flicker, the recognition, the understanding that something had broken open. She tried to play innocent. She said she didn't know what I was talking about. She said the credit accounts must be a mistake. She grabbed her phone, probably to call Curtis, and that's when the knock came at the door. The detectives introduced themselves. Dana's face went white. She started crying, saying it was a misunderstanding, that she was going to pay it all back, that she loved me, that we were family. I looked at her for a long moment. 15 years. Every birthday. Every crisis. Every 2 a.m. phone call. And then I said, very quietly, "Get out of my house." Dana Whitmore was arrested on 6 counts: identity theft, bank fraud, forgery, fraudulent property transfer, 2 additional charges related to the loan disbursements. Curtis Gale was picked up in Dayton the same afternoon. The quit-claim deed was invalidated by the county within the week. My house, my actual, legal, rightful home, was restored to my name. Every fraudulent account was flagged with the credit bureaus. A fraud alert locked my identity. The financial forensics report triggered an IRS audit of the LLC Dana and Curtis had formed. Turns out, they had done this before, to someone else, a woman in Michigan who had lost $30,000 and never recovered it. Because of Terry's report, because of my case, that woman got justice too. I hadn't planned on that, but I'll take it. That was 14 months ago. Dana pled guilty to 4 of the 6 counts. She's currently serving 22 months in a federal corrections facility. Curtis took a plea deal and is serving 30 months. The civil suit, separate from the criminal case, resulted in a judgment in my favor for just under $90,000. I don't know if I'll ever see that money. But the judgment exists. My name exists. My house exists. Maya and Liam came home from Pittsburgh to a house that still smelled like home. Liam asked where Auntie Dana went. I told him she had to go away for a while. He nodded like kids do, accepting the world as it comes, and went straight for the snack cabinet. Maya was quieter. She's 7, but she's sharp. She looked at me one evening while I was folding laundry, and she said, "Mommy, is Dana a bad person?" I thought about that for a long time before I answered. I told her that some people carry wounds so deep they start hurting everyone around them, and that doesn't make it okay. It just makes it sad. Maya nodded. Then she said, "But you're okay now, right?" And I said, and I meant it this time, completely, "Yeah, baby, I'm okay." Here's what I want to leave you with. The thing about being betrayed by someone you love, truly love, is that it doesn't just steal your money or your property. It steals your instincts. It makes you doubt every good thing you've ever felt about another human being. But I refuse to let Dana Whitmore be the reason I stop trusting people. She took enough from me. She doesn't get that too. If you're in a situation right now where something feels wrong, where small things keep not adding up, please listen to that feeling. Document everything. Call a lawyer before you confront anyone. And protect yourself, because no one is going to do it for you. No one. And if you are Dana Whitmore, I hope the 22 months give you time to figure out who you actually are. Because I spent 15 years thinking I knew. I'm Rachel. This was my confession. And this was my verdict. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. Before you go, if Rachel's story hit you somewhere deep, if you found yourself holding your breath, clenching your jaw, or wiping your eyes at any point during this video, you are not alone in that. These stories are real. The pain is real. And the people living through them deserve to be heard. So here's what I need from you right now. If you're new here, welcome to Confession Verdict. This channel exists for one reason only: to give a voice to the people the world tried to silence. Every single week, we bring you real confessions, real betrayals, real people who hit rock bottom and then fought their way back up. If that's the kind of story that moves you, hit that subscribe button right now. And make sure you tap the bell icon so you never miss an upload. The next story coming this week makes Rachel's look like a warm-up. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, at what exact moment did you know Dana was the villain? Was it the credit card? The deed? Or did you sense it from the very beginning? And if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely, someone you would have taken a bullet for, tell me your story in the comments. You might just see it featured on this channel. Every confession matters here. Every single one.